of Gladden. No match for the leg.
The Chicago Tribune. A great city deserves a great newspaper. Your Chicagoland, Northern Indiana Better Buick dealer. Wouldn't you really rather have a Buick? And Canon. So advanced, it's the world's leader in 35mm photography. With Steve Stone, Harry Caray back at Candlestick Park. We're ready to play here with Shawon Dunston leading off against Roger Mason. They rave about this kid Mason. They say he might turn out to be their best pitcher.
He's making his 5th start of the year, his first against the Cubs. 1-1, 2.25 ERA. He's got an overpowering fastball. He's a huge right-hander, 6'6", 215. Good, hard-breaking slider.
First pitch is in there for a strike call. Shawon Dunston leading it off. The lineup for the Cubs: Dunston, Francona, Sandberg, Moreland, Mumphrey, Davis. Swings and he misses. Spire, Dernier, and Eckersley.
Mason doesn't qualify to be a rookie. He's 1 2/3 innings over the maximum, throwing 51 2/3 innings last year.
He struck him out on 3 pitches. That's not a very impressive start. So that's 1 away. Dunston had 4 out of 4 Friday night, and since now he's 0 for 11.
Number 16, first baseman Terry Francona.
Here's Terry Francona. He was stopped in the first game 0 for 4. The Cubs had only 5 hits. One of them a home run by Sandberg that kept him in the ballgame. Francona 0 for 4. 3 for 14 in the series. 1 ball, no strikes. There's a drive in the left field, but right at Leonard, and he makes the catch. That ball was well hit. They have Maldonado playing center field. That's the only change in their outfield. With Davis, Chili Davis in right, and Jeff Leonard in left. We're just catching up with the lineups ourselves. They have Chris Brown at third base, Uribe at shortstop, Rob Thompson at second, and Will Clark at first. Here's Sandberg. Curveball a little bit low.
They're a little bit worse defensively in this second game. Gladden a better center fielder than Maldonado. Melvin a little better defensively than Bob Brenly.
A little bit low, a slider. Boy, this Mason is a big kid. 6'6". 28 years old. Out of Bel Air, Michigan. Ball 3 is low. Mason last year won 1, lost 3 for the Giants after being 12-1 for Phoenix. There's a strike call. Looked like he threw a slider with 3-0 and got it over. Swings, a little pop foul. Clark shading his eyes, makes the catch. 1, 2, 3, nothing across. They go on the bottom of the first, no score. Harry Caray back at Candlestick. Here's the lineup now for the Giants. We didn't have a chance to give it to you before. It's Maldonado in center field, Clark at first base, Brown at third base, Leonard in left, Chili Davis in right, Bob Brenly the catcher, Rob Thompson at second, Uribe, Jose Uribe at short, and Roger Mason the pitcher. The umpires are behind the plate Terry Tata, with Crawford at first, Wendelstedt at second, and Williams at third. There's the pitch swung on by Maldonado, a high pop foul, out of play. It should be Wendelstedt, the umpire. at third base. Charlie Williams is working at second. Terry Tata behind the plate.
This is Dennis Eckersley's 6th start of the year, his first against the Giants. Lifetime 1-1 against San Francisco, a fine 2.86 ERA in 4 starts. He's looking for his first win of the year, the earned run average at .437.
Maldonado takes a strike over the outside corner. Dennis Eckersley, who's been involved in some tough ball games. He has pitched great without having any success. High pop fly. Moreland comes in, makes the cut. Maldonado flies to Moreland and right. The Cubs have Mumphrey playing left. Dernier in center. And Moreland in right. Spire playing third. Dunston at short. Sandberg at second. Francona at first. Eckersley pitching. Jody Davis catching. Jody catching both ends of the doubleheader.
Eckersley facing 3 left-hand hitters today, and how he handles them will probably determine how he fares. He's got a tough one in Will Clark.
Eckersley try. There's a drive way back. Moreland near the wall. Can't make the play. Here's Clark on his way to second, trying for 3. And he's going to make it sliding for the triple. That ball was catchable.
Looked like an off-speed pitch down. Keith Moreland didn't really get a good angle on this ball. He goes to the wall. And he just runs out of room.
Here's Chris Brown. His sacrifice fly won the first game. Here's another angle on the replay. Now it looks like he's going to catch it right here, doesn't it?
Harry, he didn't feel for the wall, and he really didn't know where the fence was. That's why he slowed down a little too quickly, and the ball took off over his head.
Here's Brown, and the pitch is a little bit low. Brown with 1 homer and 11 RBIs. He's hitting .314. He had his 3rd game-winning RBI in the first game. Infield in. Line drive right field. Base hit. First run of the ball game, a score. 1-0.
Fastball up and away. Chris Brown goes that way. RBI number 12 for Brown. Moreland blocks the ball, and Clark scores easily.
Here's Jeff Leonard now. Leonard in the first game had 1 out of 3. The Giants, after losing the first 2 games by scores of 6-5, won the first game of the doubleheader 2-1 in 10 innings, and have jumped out into the lead here in this one. Leonard hitting .340 for the year with 19 RBI. There goes Chris Brown, swung and missed. There's the peg, way wide of the bag. Stolen base.
Chris Brown stole that on Dennis Eckersley. Eckersley wasn't paying attention to him. Chris Brown got a running start off first base. Unbelievable jump. Even though the throw was off target, Jody Davis really had no chance to get him. Watch it again. He gets 3 steps before Eckersley ever delivers the ball.
So Leonard now with a man in scoring position.
And Brown, who stole 2 bases all last year, has 3 already.
Here's the pitch to Leonard. Strike call over the outside corner, a slider. 1-0, the Giants are leading.
Will Clark's nickname is Thrill, and that's exactly what he's done to these fans in San Francisco. He could become one of their most popular players in not too long a time if he keeps hitting the ball like he has.
Now Eckersley's ready. Outside. The count is even up, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Chili Davis waiting on deck. Out of play. He's still alive. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Oh, he had a rip at that one. The count's still 2-2. Jeff Leonard at the plate.
Leonard's become a tough hitter. He used to have a whole lot of problems with the breaking ball. He still has problems at times. But at this point of his career, he's starting to spoil some pretty good pitches till he gets something that he can hit. Might be good for Eckersley to come out with a good slider over the outside corner.
Ground ball. Spires got it. Holds a runner at second. Throws to first for the out. Remember the pitch I said that he really had a rip ball? We're going to show it to you again. Now watch this swing by Jeff Leonard.
Number 30, right-hander Chili Davis.
See, he was unhappy he didn't hit that one. All right, 2 gone. Here's Chili Davis. He was 2 for 4 in the first game. He's had 5 hits in the series and 11 times at bat. Fouled it out of play. 1 strike and nothing. We'll give you a full rundown on the scores as soon as we get a chance. From the belt to pit. A little high. Just to give you an idea about this crowd. They try to get in the men's room between games. The line is 3 blocks long. I had to bribe a guy to give me his place.
It was 25 minutes between games. It must have been a long line.
Yeah, it's still out there. Here's a high pop fly. Somebody ought to catch it. Sandberg is there to retire the side. 1 run, 2 hits. No errors and 1 left. At the end of 1-0, Giant.
Some of the best writers and photographers in America. To others, it's simply the best source of information. And to quite a few, it's a matter of pure enjoyment.
Morning, Dad. I'm out of here.
But to Billy and his dad,
Meet at Maple Street.
it's just another day's work.
Harry back at Candlestick Park. Seems like we've been in San Francisco for a month.
Anytime you play 4 games here, Harry, it makes for a long trip. And tough on your expense account.
Tell me about it. I don't know why it should be tough on you. I haven't seen you pick up a check yet. There's a pitch swung on and foul. Moreland's had a bad series here. He was 1 out of 4. He's 2 out of 13 for the series. And he's had his trouble in the field, too.
Here's a look at king-size Roger Mason.
Boy, look how big that guy is. Whew. Why is it some organizations always sign guys 5'8", 5'9", 5'10", and the other ones have these guys, these giants. Strike on the outside corner. Moreland says he has trouble picking up the ball here. I don't know exactly why. They seems to have a fine background back there in center field.
We talked about Philadelphia and Cincinnati. Both of those ballparks have a dark or black background. In Wrigley Field, it's a dark green background. But here in Candlestick Park, it's a light green background. And he says particularly during the daytime, he's got some problems picking up the ball. Apparently, Will Clark doesn't share the same opinion because he's not having too many problems.
Well, Cleveland beat the White Sox again. The Indians now won 7 in a row. Here's a pitch outside. The final today was 6-4, and James is the loser. Bale's the winner in relief. We'll give you a full rundown as soon as we get a chance. Outside. Bring him to.
They got Mason from the Detroit Tigers for outfielder Alex Sanchez on April 5th, 1985.
3-2 pitch. There's a ground ball to Uribe. Throws the first for the out. You know, I'd want Mason on my team just in case a fight broke out. I don't think anybody's going to challenge him.
Be a good one to have. It looks like, Harry, he's trying to make the conversion from being a thrower to a pitcher. He always threw the ball hard. Always struck out about 7 or 8 men a game in minor leagues. When he got traded over from Detroit, he went to Phoenix, and he burned up the Pacific Coast League. Was 12-1 at Phoenix last year before being promoted to San Francisco.
Here's the pitch now to Mumphrey. Line drive, but right after second base. Mumphrey. Line to Thompson. That's 5 in a row retired by Mason. Mike Lacoste was the winner in the first game. The only run off Lacoste was a homer by Sandberg. The Giants had 2 runs, 5 hits, 1 error. The Cubs had 1 run, 5 hits, 1 error. Sutcliffe the loser and Lacoste the winner. There's a curve strike call. Jody Davis at the plate. He was 0 for 4 in the first game. High pop foul. Over near the stand. Out of play.
Mason came up briefly with Detroit. That was at the end of the 1984 year. After spending the whole season at Evansville, where he was 9-7, the Tigers promoted him. He went 1-1 with a 4.50 ERA, appearing in 5 ball games. He started 2 of those. Then they traded him over to San Francisco, and he went to Phoenix.
Oh, and 2 the count. Fouled it off the end of the bat. I guess the fact that there's an open date tomorrow, one of the reasons Jody Davis is catching a doubleheader. But the only other choice he would have would be if Moreland had caught this game. Cubs are going with 1 catcher. One and 2 the count. At this rate, by the 1st of August, Jody's going to weigh about 116 pounds. Bouncing ball. The shortstop Uribe throws. Wild throw. Jody will have to hold up at first base.
This was a ball that Chris Brown might have cut off, but it looked like he just let it go for Uribe. Uribe showed he doesn't have the strongest arm around. Take a look at it. Brown comes over. Now it looks like he's going to cut it off. Then he holds up at the last instant. Uribe throws the ball in the dirt. Will Clark unable to pick it out.
Here's Spire now.
That'll go as an error on Uribe.
Spire with 1 homer, 2 RBIs, hitting .286. You're watching Chicago Cubs baseball over WGN Channel 9, Chicago, America's #1 sports station.
Now they want Will Clark to play in back of Jody Davis. They don't figure he's going to be running.
There's the ball getting away from Brunley, but Jody is unable to advance.
Cubs will have 2 welcome additions to their ball club on Tuesday. Lee Smith and Leon Durham.
They'll be welcomed with open arms. Slider on the outside corner. Here the American League scores. Kansas City murdered Baltimore 11-1. Milwaukee defeated California 5-3. Cleveland beat the White Sox 6-4, sweeping the 3-game series. Toronto edged Seattle 3-2. Detroit beat Minnesota 4-1. Texas knocked off the Yankees again 4-3. And Boston beat Oakland 4-1, a 3-hitter by Roger Clemens. Here's a pitch fouled out in the National League. The Phillies whipped Atlanta 5-1. The Mets rolled over Cincinnati 7-2. Montreal edged Houston 7-6. They had to come back from a 6-1 deficit. The Cardinals stopped the Dodgers, ending their 7-game winning streak 3-1. Forsch, a 3-hitter. And Pittsburgh has beaten San Diego 5-2. Hey, those Pirates playing much better baseball. There's a ground ball headed to left field. Great stop by Brown to throw to first. He gets it. Brown hurt himself on that one. He's still down. Now he's getting up. He's okay. A great play by the Giant third baseman. No runs, no hits, 1 error, 1 left. They go in the bottom of the second. 1-0 Giant. We go in the bottom of the second. Bob Brenly will be leading it off. 1-0 in favor of the Giants. Brenly didn't play in the first game, so he's a fresh catcher. Watch this play by Chris Brown on the replay.
Outstanding effort by a fine defensive third baseman, Chris Brown. He stumbles up, makes a good strong throw, and then he gets shaken up on the play. He stayed down for a while. Good mobility to his left.
You know, Brown was one of the rookies of the year last season. Coleman won the award, but he was picked on the all-rookie team as the third baseman. Here's Brenly lifting a high pop fly. That's Dunston, should catch it. 1 out. But you figure Brown at third base, just in his second year. Uribe is a young shortstop. There's Rob Thompson at second base, outstanding. And Will Clark is one of the conversation pieces of baseball. That's a good young infield.
I don't think there's a better man to evaluate infields than Joe Morgan. And I talked with him before the game, and he said that Chris Brown has a chance to be as good as he wants to be. He said he's got everything going for him. He can be a fine hitter and an outstanding defensive player.
Here's Thompson. The pitch swung on, a line drive. Fair into the corner. He's on his way to second with a double. He may try for 3, changes his mind. Thompson, who doubled like that in the first game, just hits another one.
Not too many people are going to run on the arm of Sean Dunston once he gets the cutoff.
Number 23.
Jordy McKenzie has Thompson going until he sees the ball cleanly get to Dunston. Mumphrey digs it out of the corner. Now Dunston has the ball, and Thompson has to hold up.
Ed Moose, you've heard me mention the Washington Square Bar and Grill. One of the owners, an old friend of mine from St. Louis by the name of Ed Moose. And they're going to have a game at Wrigley Field a week from Monday. And you're going to be interested in hearing about it. They're going to play a softball game involving some people you've heard of. Here is Uribe taking the pitch outside. I know that you're going to play, aren't you?
Harry, I'm going to do everything I can to play in Wrigley Field. You know that.
That's a week from Monday?
Week from Monday, 11 o'clock, we're playing the NBC All-Stars.
I want to ask you about their cast. Here's a strike call. Sit over here a minute. We want to put you on camera here, Ed.
Budweiser in front of me.
Attaboy. I could use one myself. Uribe waiting. A little tap. Sandberg comes in, throws him out. All right, now what's this all about, this softball game? You guys last year went to Paris to play a softball game.
Well, this is sort of a grudge match, Harry. Tom Brokaw and Peter Jennings and some of their cohorts were out here for the Sanford for the convention, Democratic convention, and we beat them. They demanded a rematch, and so here we are, all going to Chicago, and lucky enough to be playing in Wrigley Field next Monday.
And on Sunday, you're going to play at Fenway Park.
We are. It's a doubleheader that we understand no major league team has ever attempted. We're playing the mayor's office and the Boston Globe people there, and we're trying to do a doubleheader that's never been done before.
Here's Roger Mason fouling off the first pitch. Now, what kind of a team do you have? Now, you're a fellow that's not exactly in the blush of your youth.
This is your basic over the hill with a 70-year-old first baseman, the great writer here, Herb Cain. A couple of fellows who've had coronary bypass, 1 or 2 ringers, and just enough women to get us through a game of 7 innings, Harry.
Oh, yeah, women playing too.
We do, and they are definitely in better condition and better ball players than almost any of us.
Here's the pitch. Mason swings a missile. I know they're in better shape, if that's what you're talking about.
I am indeed.
All right, now, who's going to be on this other team you're going to play?
Well, Tom Brokaw is a nominal leader. Peter Jennings, I think, is coming over. Brian Gumble, Brandon Tartikoff, a number of NBC people. And we understand that the great political satirist, the cartoonist, and creator of Shoe, McNally, is coming in as a ringer. So we're up against some pretty tough opposition. Mike Royko is only going to pinch hit, we understand.
Well, I know you're going to have a lot of fun in Chicago.
It'll be a winner, Harry. We hope we'll get you out there, too.
All right, Ed.
Thank you.
Okay. Ed Moose of the Washington Square Bar and Grill. There's a pitch. High pop foul. Jody Davis. No chance to make a play. You know, that game, there's no game in Chicago a week from tomorrow. That's when it is, a week from tomorrow. They're going to be playing at Wrigley Field. Hey, Ed, what time is it?
11 o'clock.
11 o'clock in the morning. There's no admission price, right?
No, this one is a free one.
All right. So if you have nothing to do and you want to see some of your favorite newspaper idols or heroes or stars or whatever you want to call them, and members of the media, network anchormen, and so forth, 1 week from tomorrow at 11 o'clock at Wrigley Field for free. Here's strike 3. Roger Mason goes down. The double by Thompson is wasted. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. At the end of 2, the Giants are leading 1-0. Bobby Dernier is going to lead it off here. You know, the Texas ball club's at the 500 mark and only a game and a half out. California still leads in spite of losing today. The Cubs are back in a tie with the Cardinals for last place. Dernier in the first game had 1 hit, 1 out of 4. Roger Mason, tall, rangy right-hander. Boy, how about those Cleveland Indians? They're 14-8. They're in a tie with the Yankees for first place. And they have won their last 7 in a row. Dernier fouls it back, out of play. An off day tomorrow for the Cubs. And this softball game that Ed Moose was talking about will be played at 11 in the morning, a week from tomorrow at Wrigley Field. Curveball low. Jeff Odenwald told me he was discussing all the details with you.
Yes, Jeff has a good sense of humor, so they're letting us on the field, and I told him Studs Turco was our cleanup man, and he bought that.
Line drive out for Dernier. Right at your ribeye. One away.
Well, they've hit 2 balls hard, but so far, San Francisco defenders standing right in the way. Jerry Mumphrey lined out to second. Now Dernier lines out to short.
Here's Eckersley with 1 away. Boy, your old Baltimore Orioles are 11-12. Got beat 11-1 today. Their pitching isn't like it used to be, Steve.
Now Earl's finding out what the other half lived like all those years when he had great starters running out there every day. The pitching has been in disarray, and their record shows it.
Eckersley hits a little tap. Thompson throws the first for the out. Cubs are having a tough time making any run. They've had one all day, and that was a home run by Ryan Sandberg. Boy, that Roger Clemens, a 3-hitter today. They got all of a sudden, Boston, a team that used to make a lot of runs but couldn't hold the other guy, now is getting great pitching. I guess they have as good a starting rotation as anybody.
And with those Bombers, Harry, they could make some noise in that division, but I think everyone is surprised by the Cleveland Indians. That's truly amazing. 7 games in a row they've won. They're in a virtual tie with the Yankees for first place.
Here's a pitch outside. Who did Detroit play today? Yeah, the Tigers beat Minnesota today. So almost everybody but Kansas City and Texas in the Western Division lost today. Detroit just barely over 500, 12-10. Johnston had a cut and he missed. What was that, Arnie?
Everybody but the Cubs did win in the East.
That's right. Cubs are the only team to lose. And so they now are tied with the Cardinals. Both teams 8 games out. The Mets are 16-4. Fastball inside. I know it's early, but somebody better start bidding those Mets pretty soon. Ground ball. Chris Brown scoops it up. Throws for the out to retire the side. 1, 2, 3, nothing across. We go to the bottom of the third, 1-0 Giant.
California, you better see this one first. Hertz affordable rates as low as $115 a week.
Harry Carey at Candlestick. Here's their leadoff man, Candy Maldonado, to lead it off against Eckersley. Eckersley looking for his first victory of the year. Sutcliffe is 1-4. Eckersley is 0-2. Well, I don't think you can blame their records on their performances. You got to get runs to win. There's a drive foul.
You know, Harry, the saying in baseball is it all evens out. Well, Rick Sutcliffe and Dennis Eckersley have a lot of evening up to do because they've both been throwing the ball very well, and they have little to show for it.
Maldonado flat out to right his first time. Fastball low and away. Terry Taylor, the plate umpire. Jerry Crawford at first, Charlie Williams at second, Harry Wendelstedt at third. Low one outside. Big crowd on hand here today. It'll be interesting to see what the total is. Bouncing ball to Dunston. He's got it. Goes for the out. One away. Did Rosen say anything of interest?
He talked about making up his ball club, Harry, and the decision to really go with young players. He said he looked at his roster and he figured that he had to give Thompson and he had to give Clark a chance. He said he felt that at this point in the Giants' development, he knew that they could play some baseball. He wanted to unload some salaries and some players who were one-dimensional, i.e. Dan Dreesen, and they ate $1.6 million in releasing Dan Dreesen.
Here's a fastball low.
And that was a move that a lot of general managers are hesitant to make. When do you let go of a player who's making a lot of money, who's at the tail end of their careers, and go with the young guys?
As soon as they can't help you perform on the field, that's when you let go.
Well, I applaud the decision by Al Rosen. He said he felt that Dreesen only played first base and he had made a commitment to Will Clark.
Here's a ground ball. Nice play by Francona, the pitcher covering for the out. Will Clark rolled out. Francona made a nice play on the ground ball to his right.
He also said it's going to be interesting in September with some teams in the races, or let's say not September because you can expand the rosters, but let's say toward the middle of August. He said a lot of teams might be tempted to just go with that 25th man. It still is the rule. You can play with 25, but all teams have chosen to play with 24.
Are you trying to tell me that a gentleman's agreement would be broken?
We haven't seen that too many times in this game.
There's a pitch swung on by Brown. A fly ball will be caught. 1, 2, 3. Dernier took care of Chris Brown. Dwayne Stats will be rejoining Steve in a moment. Harry Carey from San Francisco. At the end of 3, the Cubs trail 1-0. Right.
The middle, and when Dwayne left me, the Cubs had a run and were looking for more, and they're still looking for more 7 innings later.
We're not making much progress here. Let's get something going.
Roger Mason has a no-hitter through 3. The only base runner for the Cubs, Jody Davis, on an error by Jose Uribe.
That's a way to jinx him.
Let's hope that Francona can end the spell. He flied out to left field in the first inning. Little pop-up, Uribe going out, Leonard coming in, and Leonard makes the catch. Boy, he has become an outstanding defensive left fielder.
He has good range, good speed out there, and of course, we know what a great arm he has. It's been a matter of concentration with Leonard, taking full advantage of some God-given abilities.
Brings up Ryan Sandberg, who popped up to Will Clark to end the first inning. Down the line by Chris Brown, so the spell is ended. Sandberg round first. He'll go into second with a double.
Well, Sandberg's been on base 5 out of the 6 times he's been to the plate today, and 7 of the last 8 times he's been to the plate. Picking up a double here. That's his 5th of the year.
Right fielder, Keith Moreland.
It's going to bring up Keith Moreland. Grounded to shortstop in the second inning. Keith was 1 for 3 in the first game. He sacrificed in the 9th inning, but the Cubs could not take advantage of it. Cubs will have to make a roster move when they go back to Chicago. Lee Smith eligible to come off the disabled list, and he's healthy and throwing the ball well. Good breaking ball for a strike. I talked to Billy Connors, and he said the big guy is really popping the ball in the bullpen, and he fully intends Lee Smith to come back strong. He's had a couple weeks to rest, his leg healed, and the arm feeling good. Moreland takes one low. Count evens at 1-1. 1 run, 3 hits, and an error for the Giants. They won the first game 2-1. The 9th straight 1-run ball game these two clubs have played over the last year and a half in this ballpark. Big sweeping slider, and Bob Brenly telling Roger Mason to get up over the top of that. You let your arm drop on a slider, it stays up high.
Most everything we've seen from Mason this afternoon has been the same speed.
Fly ball right field, well hit. Chili Davis back into the corner, the long run, and the ball's foul. Roger Mason's got that split finger fastball, as do all the pitchers that Roger Craig tutors, but he doesn't seem to be using it all that well at this point.
You know, he threw that pitch before he came here. Of course, he came over from Detroit. Same way Juan Berenger did with the San Francisco Ball Club. And at one point, he tried to throw that pitch a lot. The Giants told him, you have such a good arm. Why don't you use your regular fastball a lot more and then mix in that split-fingered pitch? It worked at Phoenix last year. He was 12-1.
Fly ball right field. Chili Davis over under this one. Sandberg tagging. Here comes the throw, and here comes Sandberg. It's a good throw. Outstanding throw by Chili Davis, but Sandberg just a little too quick.
Boy, that was a dandy throw by Chili Davis. The fly ball to right field by Moreland Davis, getting into throwing position when he made the catch, and he unleashed a beauty to third. Sandberg just beat it in.
Watch it again.
Davis with his momentum toward the infield when he caught the ball.
Dwayne, Chili caught that on the left side of his body, then had to swing around to the right side to make the throw. Most good outfielders will tell you, try to catch the ball on the throwing side, and it limits the time you have to take in between.
He was trying to circle back, but he just couldn't quite get there.
Now a conference at the mound. Bob Brenly went out to talk with Mason, and now Norm Sherry on the run out there. It appears he might have hurt himself some. Let's see exactly what they want. Norm Sherry, the man credited with turning Sandy Koufax's career around. He made a very simple suggestion to him. He said, you don't have to throw the ball through the catcher. Take a little bit off and throw some strikes. Jerry Mumphrey lined out to second base in the second inning. Sandberg at third, 2 out. Good high fastball. Steve Trout now getting some work in the bullpen for the Cubs. Foul back. Outfield around toward left center field for Mumphrey. Fastball misses outside. If Mason stays away with that good hard fastball, doesn't figure for Mumphrey to pull him. This one fouled off to the left. Count holds at 1-2.
Is Trout getting some extra throwing down in the bullpen?
Strike three, blazing fastball from Mason. So the Cubs waste a Sandberg double. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. End of 3.5. Giants on top, 1-0. In the 4th inning. Leonard grounded out third to first in the 1st inning. And the Hackman has got it all going this year. 5 home runs, 19 RBIs. hitting .337 coming into this one. Long drive center field, well hit. Bobby Dernier on the run. Back to the warning track. He'll never get this one. Off the wall. Jeff Leonard in at second base with a double, and that ball was crushed.
Leonard hitting out of that closed batting stance. He takes that step into the pitch. He strides directly toward the mound. Now watch him crush this ball. To straightaway center field. Dernier goes back as the ball bounds off the fence. A double for Jeff Leonard.
That'll bring up Chili Davis, who popped up to second to end the first inning. Outfield straight away and deep for Davis. Cubs trail by a run. Dennis Eckersley has given up 4 hits. One fouled off. Davis trying to pull the ball, trying to move up the base runner. This gives San Francisco a formidable middle offense when you put Clark, Brown, Leonard, and Davis back to back in your batting order. Those 4 men can hit. Crowds him with a fastball, 1-1. Bob Brenly on deck. Long drive, right field, well hit. Keith Moreland back on the track. Bobby Dernier looks up, and he catches it right in front of the wall. Jeff Leonard tags up and goes to third. That just missed.
Well, Chili Davis really gave that ball a ride on a 1-1 pitch. Eckersley came into him, and he was ready for that pitch. I'm a little surprised that Eckersley hasn't changed speeds a little bit more, especially to a left-handed hitter. Throw the ball away, maybe take a little something off and get the ball to tail away.
Well, he's thrown 1 changeup, that coming to Chris Brown. And Eckersley's at his best when he changes speeds, especially the left-handers. Runner at third, only 1 out. Bob Brenly, who popped up to Sean Dunson in the second. Play by Jody Davis. Brenly with 3 home runs, 10 RBIs. You know, they start Melvin 1 game and he's a fine defensive catcher. Then they bring in Brenly, who hits well. What do you think is more important, Dwayne, behind the plate?
Well, I think it depends on the makeup of your ball club. If you can afford to carry a light-hitting catcher who is very good defensively, then you have to go with that fella. But if you need the pop, then sometimes you have to give a little bit on the defense. But it's very important to have a good catcher back there who can steady your pitching staff and call a good game and be a very good defensive catcher.
1-1 count on Brenly. Infield in, trying to cut off the run. Crowds him 2-1. With the infield in, it puts about 50 points on anyone's batting average. There are no angles on ground balls, and it's pretty easy just to pop the ball over the heads of the infield. Bob Brenly is hitting in that situation now. Ground ball foul. 2-2.
You know, if you look at the San Francisco lineup with Melvin in there, you feel that you might have a chance to maybe pitch around the middle part of that order and get down to the bottom side, although Thompson's been swinging a pretty good bat for them, and Uribe has always been a real pesky hitter against the Cubs. But with Brenly in there, it's a little more formidable.
Strike 3, swung at a bad pitch. Were you a little surprised in the 9th inning?
Here's that pitch as Brenly gives the Cubs a little help there.
They didn't pinch hit for Bob Melvin in the 9th inning with the game on the bases, and he wound up striking out looking.
Well, I was in a way, because they had Brenly available. to go in to catch if they needed him. But then again, if he comes through and helps them, I guess that's a little confidence builder, and they're trying to get Melvin to believe in himself as a hitter as well as a catcher.
Robbie Thompson looks at one away. This play by Jody Davis. Thompson doubled in the second. He's got 9 RBIs this year, and he was hitting .272 coming in. He put 8 points on his batting average with that double. He's shown the ability to hit the ball down either line. Checks his swing, the appeal. Jerry Crawford says no.
We talked about a little yesterday with the adjustment Thompson has made. That is striding directly toward the mound. He has opened his batting stance as opposed to stepping directly toward the plate.
Popped up. Chris Spire giving it a look, but it's back in the seats.
When he was striding in toward the plate, he was jamming himself a lot. We've seen him hit a couple bars sharply up the left field line with that open stance. A pitch inside. He has enough room to still get pretty good wood on the ball and line it hard.
Roger Craig said despite the fact that Thompson is a first-year player, he's already taken control of the infield. In fact, he's the captain in the infield. What the captain will do is look into the manager in situations like first and second. Nobody out. There's a bunt situation. He'll get the sign from Roger Craig and then radio the sign to the rest of the infielders. So here's a guy that wanted the control, and he took it. And you don't see a young player do that too often.
And Bobby Lillis, the coach here with Roger Craig, and a former infielder. Lillis says Thompson has tremendous retention ability.
2-1 count on Thompson. Good slider, catches the inside corner. Count evens at 2-2. Eckersley trying to strand Jeff Leonard at third. Just missing outside. You're familiar with Bob Lillis, certainly from his management days at Houston. He seems to be a pretty good instructor.
I think one of the best. He is as thorough as any baseball man. He's a great addition to this San Francisco club.
Popped up. Dunston going back, calling everybody off. And he makes the catch. So the double wasted. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. End of 4. Cubs trail 1-0.
Early directory publishers of the Ameritech Bell Yellow Pages.
Jody Davis to lead off the 5th inning. He reached base on an error by Uribe in the second. He'll be followed by Chris Spire and Bobby Dernier. Jody 0 for 4 in the first game. Good fastball for a strike, and Mason is really popping the ball. Now the shadows are starting to cut across home plate. It's got to be very difficult to see up there. If you were a fastballer, you'd want to pitch in the second game of a doubleheader in this ballpark. I was a Giant when J.R. Richard made his major league debut, pitched the second game of a doubleheader in this park, and struck out 15 men. And he was firing the ball that day. Three and 1 on Jody.
Reminder to all Cub fans, be sure and stop by participating Unocal 76 stations to get an action color photograph this week of Rick Sutcliffe. So stop in today.
Ball 4, he lost him. A good beginning to the 5th inning for the Cubs. Chris Spire hit the ball very well in the second, only to be retired on a great play by Chris Brown at third base. Brown diving to his left. Had enough composure and concentration to get up and gun him down. Outfield straight away for Spire. Medium depth. Fouled off to the right. The Cubs are going to have to make a roster move when they come home. They'll activate Lee Smith, so a lot of decisions by Dallas Green and Jim Fry as to who will be sent to the minors. It's got to be tough for a few guys down in that bullpen in the dugout right now, knowing that somebody has to go.
Well, at the stage of the season when they like to keep a full complement of pitchers, to go with 10 as opposed to 9.
Pitch out. Throw to first. Nothing doing. Well, they're activating a pitcher, so I would think that a pitcher would have to go. Then you have the Terry Francona situation to deal with. He's really contributed. They're going to have to make a decision on what they want to do with Francona. Look out. High inside fastball. 2-1 on Spire. You don't have too much time to get out of the way of those.
See Chris trying to hang in there and then get out of there in a hurry.
Roger Mason can be most intimidating on the mound. 6'6", 215 pounds. Just missing inside. 3-1. So a bit of control problem for Mason. Mason, 28 years old, out of Bel Air, Michigan.
The opposition coming into this game hitting only 165 against him. So he's been doing something right in the early part of the year.
He hit him. Spire not too happy with that, but he'll go to first base. And the Cubs are in business with runners at first and second and nobody out.
You know, that can't feel too good. Spire's not touching that spot, however. He's going to try to walk it off.
Really
starting
amazing.
To feel that chill here a little bit now, and that'll make it even worse.
It's amazing how many guys get hit in the back and start to limp. I don't know what it is. There's going to be a conference between Roger Craig and umpire Terry Tate at home plate. It looked to me like Mason hurt himself last inning, and I mentioned it. Then he went back out there to throw the ball. It didn't look like he had any ill effects, but I think perhaps that's what Craig was inquiring, if Mason is okay. He wants to make sure this isn't a trip to the mound, and apparently Mason said yes, he's fine. Now Terry Tate is motioning to Jim Fry.
Jeff Robinson in the bullpen now for San Francisco. He had been up earlier.
The Giants got just what they needed in the first game, Dwayne. They got a complete game out of Mike Lacoste that gave that bullpen some rest. They've been used and abused lately.
That's 2 excellent starts for Lacoste for the San Francisco Giants.
Dernier's had very good luck with the Giants over the course of his career. Chris Brown in close at third. Takes a breaking ball away. Mason having all kinds of control problems here in the 5th. Only 1 hit. That by Ryne Sandberg, a double last inning. We're in the top of the 5th, and the Cubs trail by a run, looking for a split in this doubleheader, and 3 out of 4 in the series. There's the bunt, and it's a good one. Only 1 play for Brown. Throws to first. Out at first.
All right, Brown making another dandy play. This is a very difficult play. Brown coming in on the bunt. Here it is, a good bunt by Dernier. See Brown in, barehanded pickup, and the off-balance throw just in time to get Dernier. Very close over there at first.
Boy, not too many third basemen around the league can make that play. Chris Brown showing you why he's considered one of the best glove men in the league. Infield in at all 4 positions, and Dennis Eckersley up. He grounded out second to first in the 3rd inning. They're looking for the bunt. Swings and he misses. Not much speed at third base in the form of Jody Davis. Chris Spire at second. Now another conference, this time between Don Zimmer and Dennis Eckersley. Well, if this is to be a suicide or safety squeeze, you've just told everybody in the ballpark. 0-1 on Eckersley. A quick step off the mound would tell Mason if anything was on, but Jody wasn't breaking. Fastball inside, 1-1. Popeye going through the signs at third base. Now he goes over to have a word with Jody.
That might be the key right there.
Eckersley takes it down, 2-1. Jeff Robinson continuing to throw in the bullpen, and he's heating up in a hurry. Once again, the quick step. Jody not giving anything away.
And Mason trying to do that just to see if he could catch Davis, give some indication of darting down the line.
This would be the pitch you'd expect it.
There it is.
There it is. A good bunt. Here comes the play at home. Out at the plate.
Here's another look as Jody takes off and Eckersley puts down the bunt, but Mason comes in, bare hands the ball, flips it to Brindley, and Brindley blocking the plate puts the tag on Jody Davis, and Terry Tata makes the call. Good play. Mason underhanding the ball, and you see Brindley not allowing Davis to get to the plate.
Pitchers work all spring on coming in barehanding the ball and flipping it. You won't see it done any better than Roger Mason did it on that play. Good execution on the part of the Giants. Sean Dunston 0 for 2, struck out and grounded out. Squibbs this one off the end of the bat. So the Cubs have runners at first and third. Now they're 2 outs. Cubs have yet to score. Two good plays defensively, one by Chris Brown, the other by Roger Mason, have kept the Cubs at bay. Terry Francona on deck. Line drive left field. A fair ball. The game is tied. Dennis Eckersley around second. He's coming to third. Don Zimmer's waving him. Here comes the throw. There's going to be a play at the plate. Out at the plate. So the Cubs tie it up. They get a run on 1 hit. There were no errors. There's 1 left. 2 men out at home plate. End of 4 1/2. The game's tied at 1. An exciting 5th inning for the Cubs. And we're going to take another look at the last play.
You know, on all 3 outs in that inning, the Giants displayed some pretty good defense. That ball rattling in the corner. The tying run scores. Leonard hits the relay man, Uribe, and Uribe's throw to the plate is in time to get Dennis Eckersley. So the play not only by Chris Brown, but the play by Mason, and then the throw, the relay throw here in time to get Eckersley. The Giants did all the things that you need to do to play well and keep yourself in the ballgame.
This is a dangerous inning for Dennis Eckersley because he really let it all go running from first base trying to score on that double. You have to wonder about the decision to send him, though. You got a pitcher who's not used to running the bases. You got a left-hand hitter up, one especially who makes contact. 2 good relays cut down Dennis Eckersley at the plate. Jose Uribe to start off the 5th inning. He'll be followed by Roger Mason, and to the top of the order and Candy Maldonado. Eckersley took a couple of extra warm-ups. Hopefully he won't be winded. Now Jody Davis wisely is going out. All he's trying to do is give Eckersley a breather, make sure that he's 100% when he starts this inning. The game is all tied at 1. The Cubs with a run on 2 hits. Giants run on 4 hits with an error. Now Chris Spire comes over to give Eckersley a breather. So the Cubs doing it as they should, trying to take advantage of the little things, give Eckersley a chance to get it all together. Spire probably asked him if he was breathing okay. Eckersley said, no problem. I'm in pretty good shape. I run hard. Jose Uribe grounded out second to first in the second inning. He looks at one down. Eckersley has struck out 2. He hasn't walked anybody. He's given up 4 hits. Popped up. Spire calling for it, crossing over into foul territory, and he makes the catch. We'll bring up Roger Mason, who struck out swinging in the second.
Pitcher, Roger Mason.
You'd have to look at these two ball clubs, Dwayne, and say they're just about as evenly matched as you could want.
On the basis of the last year and a half here, you would say that.
9 straight one-run ball games in this park. Cubs trying to even up their road trip at 4-4. Trying to take 3 out of 4 from the Giants. Count evens at 1-1. Line drive left field. Right at Jerry Mumphrey. Mason hit the ball well.
Ball seemed to hit a little wind pocket or something out there, and Mumphrey had to stay right with that ball to make the catch.
Well, this is the time that the wind starts to really kick up at Candlestick Park. I remember days when the pitching screen in front of the pitcher for batting practice would just blow right over, and the batting cage would blow back into the screen behind home plate. They'd have to anchor it down with sandbags. Don't be deceived by those flags, because it is blowing, and blowing rather hard around the infield. The wind really swirls in this park. They enclosed it, and they thought that that would help. Hasn't helped a great deal. There's a good look at a handsome right-hander, Dennis Eckersley. Looking for his first win of the year, and he certainly has earned it in most of his performances, but so far it's eluded him. Candy Maldonado's 0 for 2. Off-speed pitch misses. Maldonado hitting .278, but most of his performance has been in a pinch hitting role. Bounded foul. He's 6 for 11 with 7 RBIs as a pinch hitter. He's hit 2 home runs as a pinch hitter. It's unusual to see a guy who hits better off the bench than he does when he starts. One of the reasons why Roger Craig is playing him is so that he'll stay sharp in a pinch hitting role. Good fastball. 1-2.
Craig tries to get him a couple starts a week at least. He's started in right field, started yesterday in left field, and today's in center field.
Just missing outside. Doesn't help the outfielders at all to look at those flags, because the flags now are blowing straight in, but in the outfield the ball can go anywhere. This has got to be the toughest outfield in the major leagues to play. Ground ball to right, base hit.
That's something that's relatively new for Candy Maldonado, taking the ball the other way, and if he continues to do that, he might find himself playing much more.
New York Yankees and the Cleveland Indians in a virtual tie for first place in the American League East. Only percentage points separate them. California on top in the American League West. Oakland 1 game back. Houston 2 games up in the National League West, and Will Clark up here. He looks at one off the outside corner. Clark tripled in the first inning, scored the giant run, and grounded out Terry Francona to Dennis Eckersley in the third.
They did some figuring on that American League East. The Indians are in first place by percentage points. Their winning percentage is .636, and the Yankees now at .625. So when those Indians get to first place, you've got to make note of that and give them full credit.
Absolutely. To work with a mathematician. I love that. Figure out my checking account, will you? Good fastball over the outside corner. Count evens at 1-1. I'll be dropping the book and the checks off to you when we get back to Chicago.
As long as you sign a few of those checks, I'll take care of the figures.
I'm still trying to get Chuck Swilling to sign mine.
No comment.
Outfield straight away and very deep for Will Clark. Has yet to make an error at first base this year. He's got all the instincts of a top flight player. Almost got him. 2-1. You don't expect Candy Maldonado to be running. He doesn't have that great speed you'd associate with the players that came up through the Dodger system. But he is a quality hitter. There he goes. Fouled off. Roger Craig has shown that he will hit and run in any situation. He's been very aggressive in this series.
I think taking over this ball club, he has nothing to lose. You know, he wanted to instill a new attitude in this team, and he's pretty much done that, and he wants to keep them aggressive. There are going to be some low spots for this Giant ball club. So part of the job that Craig has is to keep this team sharp, and by utilizing that hit and run and forcing the issue, he will do that.
2-2 on Clark. Slider fouled off. Well, Will Clark has seen just about everything. The first time around, pitchers really don't know how to get him. There's scouts at every game from opposing clubs. The book will go out. They'll try everything. They'll try off-speed pitches. They'll try to jam him, keep the ball away and down, try to work him up. And eventually, they'll come up with a system. Good hitters adjust to that. There goes Maldonado. Popped up. Sean Dunston slipped. It's going to be a tough play. Jerry Mumphrey coming on and makes the catch. So a good play by Mumphrey. No runs, one hit, no errors, one left. End of 5. Game's all tied at 1. Steve Stone along with Dwayne Statz and Arnie Harris, the producer-director, taking you through the middle for the second time in the doubleheader. That's the total paid today, $33,479. Roger Mason, the starter, still on the hill. And Terry Francona lead off the 6th inning. It appears that Dennis Eckersley is going to the locker room. Jim Fry conferred with Terry Tata before the inning. Maybe Eckersley is not feeling well. Line drive, base hit to left. If something is wrong with Eckersley, Jim Fry probably said, look, my man in the bullpen needs a lot of time, and if we have a quick inning, I'll want him to get as many pitches as he wants on the mound. And George Fraser now throwing in the bullpen. So we'll check on that, see if we can get you a word on the condition of Dennis Eckersley. Ryan Sandberg 1 for 2. He doubled in the 4th inning. Bob Brenly does not throw as well as Bob Melvin. So the Giants a little bit weaker defensively behind the plate, but there's nothing wrong with that infield defensively. Fastball up high. Outfield straight away for Sandberg. Rhino 2 for 2 in the first game, a home run and a single, sandwiched between 2 walks. Two 2-0. And the Giant bullpen continues to work. Jeff Robinson up and throwing once again. Roger Craig probably feels that Mason's lost a little something. Ball 3. I would tend to agree with him. He's not throwing the ball the same way he threw it in the first 3 innings.
He's not quite as quick, and he's a little upset with himself after falling behind Sandberg 3-0.
Keith Moreland in the on-deck circle. Fastball over the outside corner. The Giants have had some problems with their double play combination. Joe Morgan feels that they're playing a little too deep. He says you got to cheat a little bit. You've got to get to the bag. they've played back and they've lost a step. It's cost them some double plays. There goes Francona. Right back at Mason. He misses it. Never gets Sandberg at first. That'll have to go as an error on Mason.
Little chopper right back. Mason tried to right himself and tried to throw the ball before he had it. He scrambled, picked it up, but the throw was way late. So let's see if the Cubs can take advantage of this opportunity.
Keith Moreland 0 for 2 as you look at it. He was 1 for 3 in the first game. Keith 0 for 5 yesterday. And 1 for 4 Friday night.
Mason has worked at least 6 innings in each of his first 4 outings. But he was pushed back in this start because of a tender elbow.
Now Chris Brown giving the signs in the infield. Pop foul to the right. Outfield straight away for Moreland, who has not had a very good series either offensively or defensively. Though he did make a game-saving catch Friday night in right field. One open to debate. Charlie Williams said it was a catch, and that's all that counted. Squared around a bunt. Takes one down. 1-1. Terry Francona's got to be careful because every team has that play where the shortstop breaks the third and the second baseman breaks in back on a pickoff attempt. Some teams will work a count play, the first baseman trying to tag out the runner. So you got to be alert on the bases. There's the bunt, and it's a good one. Only one play for Brown. He fires to first to get him. He's played a sterling third base this second game.
Good bunt by Moreland, forcing Brown to come in to make the pickup. So the Cubs are able to advance both base runners. Now both men are in scoring position.
Keith Moreland has shown that he can bunt very well, and now they're going to walk Jerry Mumphrey. Take their chances with Jody Davis. Jody 0 for 3 yesterday. Was 0 for 4 in the first game. And he's 0 for 1 with a base on balls here, and he'll get an opportunity to duplicate his feat in Wrigley Field when he hit a grand slam home run. Bases loaded, only one out, the game tied at 1. And a few Cub fans in the stands trying to get behind Jody Davis. Cubs trying to break the deadlock. Good speed on the bases. Francona at third, Sandberg at second, Mumphrey at first. Breaking ball for a strike. Chris Spire on deck. Slider down and away. Count evens at 1-1. Outfield straight away and deep for Davis. Two good arms in the outfield, and Jeff Leonard in left and Chili Davis in right. Throws the fastball by him. 1-2.
Well, Mason, who earlier in this inning appeared to have lost something, at least had that pitch left. He had to reach down for a little extra, and he came up with a big pitch right there.
Whatever he's got, you're going to see in this inning. Cubs have already had 2 men thrown out at home plate trying to score. Strike 3, he got it.
Here's that strikeout pitch. A high fastball.
That'll bring up Chris Spire. Grounded to third base. Got hit by a pitch and scored the Cub run in the 5th. Bases remain loaded, but now there's 2 outs. Eckersley left because of tightness in his left hamstring. Spire looks at one down. That note brought to us by Ned Coletti. Does a pretty good job as the head of the public relations department. Ball 2. Spire looking down at Don Zimmer to see if he's got the take, but all Popeye did was clap his hands and let him know he's on his own. Ball 3. Missing way wide. Terry Francona at first base might be a good opportunity for him to fake a break because the pitcher's not taking a stretch. Sometimes you can disrupt a young pitcher in this situation. 3-0 on Spire. Good fastball, strike 1. Catches the outside corner. 3-2. So Francona did make a break, but it didn't disrupt Mason. Big pitch. Runners will be going. Full count on Spire. Fans yelling encouragement to the hometown Giants. There they go. Strike 3, he got him. Well, the Cubs don't score. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error, 3 left. End of 5 1/2. Game tied at 1. It's the heart of the order this inning. Frazier on in relief of Dennis Eckersley, who has a tender hamstring. What do you have on Frazier, Dwayne?
Making his 10th appearance, his 3rd in this series. He is 1-1 with a .405 earned run average. He's given up 15 hits in 13 1/3 innings, striking out 8 and walking 8.
Frazier threw an inning and a third yesterday. No runs, 3 hits, no walks, and 1 strikeout. And he inherits a tie ball game. Chris Brown to lead off. He looks at one away. Brown, an RBI single in the first inning, his 12th RBI of the year. He flied out to center field in the 3rd. Frazier quickly falls behind 2-0, and control has been his problem.
Last year he averaged better than 6 walks every 9 innings, and he's right on that pace again this year. It's just tough to walk that many hitters and consistently pitch behind in the count.
Fouled off. 2-1. Well, you have a choice as a pitcher. If you're going to walk 4 or 5 or 6 men for every 9 innings, you got to give up 6 or 7 hits per 9 innings. George doesn't do that. George gives up about 11 or 12 hits per 9 innings, so he has quite a few base runners on. Appeal to first base. Yes, says Jerry Crawford. 2-2. Chris Brown not real happy with that call. He's taking a leisurely stroll. Eventually he'll come back. Foul back. High slider. New York Mets trying to make a shambles out of this race in the National League East. They won again today, 16-4. Montreal 5.5 games back at 11-10.
On the other end of the spectrum in the West, who would have thought the Reds would be 10 games under 500?
They just can't score.
5-15 now. That
offense there is just dissolved. The first time in Pete Rose's career he went through the month of April without a hit. 0 for 10. Foul back once again. Brown hanging tough. Bullpen busy for the Giants, and it's Juan Berenguer. He's the man that Roger Craig said has a chance to become his stopper. He'd like to see him used in short relief. Another high breaking ball, foul back.
Brown likes that breaking ball up there. He couldn't wait to get after that one.
Giants are blessed with a very good infield instructor in Bob Lillis. Joe Morgan was giving Lillis credit for his development as a second baseman at Houston. He also got taught a lot by Nellie Fox and Eddie Casco. Strike three, he got him. Frazier sets down the first man on strikes.
There it is. Brown chasing the pitch as it broke down and away.
That's George's version of the split finger fastball. That'll bring up the hack man, Jeff Leonard. A couple of changes in the second game defensively for the Cubs. Chris Spire at third, Jerry Mumphrey in left. Otherwise, the same ball club that started the first game, including Jody Davis behind the plate. He'll see a lot of action as long as Keith Moreland is the backup catcher. High fastball. So I'm sure Jody's going to be happy to see the off day tomorrow.
It's tough duty catching both ends of a doubleheader.
Line drive center field. Bobby Dernier right in his tracks. And he puts it away. Two up, two down.
If you're going to catch both ends of a doubleheader, I guess this is the kind of day to do it. Well, you don't want it to be the middle of July or August and about 90 degrees with humidity to match.
And in this cool, crisp air, you can really hear your knees cracking when you get up about the 6th inning of the second game. Sounds like Rice Krispies. We'll bring up Chili Davis, who's 0 for 2. Popped up to Sandberg in the first inning. Flied out very deep to Bobby Dernier in the 4th. Just missed a home run. Eckersley went 5 innings, gave up 1 run on 5 hits, didn't walk anybody, and struck out 2. Swings and he misses a split finger fastball. Cubs hoping that hamstring tightness is not serious for Eckersley. I'm sure that he heard it running from first to home when he got thrown out at home plate. Takes one low, 1-1. Just missing outside, 2-1 count. George Frazier on in relief of Dennis Eckersley. Dennis will get a no decision and is still looking for that first win of the year. Rick Sutcliffe 1-4 after tossing a gem in the first game, only to lose 2-1. 3-1 count on Chili Davis. Boy, that was a tough loss for the Cubs in the first game. Sutcliffe throwing an outstanding ball game.
Yeah, it's a shame they couldn't have scored a couple runs and let him win the ball game in 9 and get on about playing the second game, but it just didn't turn out that way.
Strike two. Full count on Chili Davis. Couple of opportunities for the Cubs to score, but they just couldn't execute the bunt. One time Rick Sutcliffe popped up a bunt. The next time Bobby Dernier. And in extra innings, the Giants pulled it out. Three-two pitch. Little pop-up. Terry Francona calling for it, as is Sandberg. Sandberg takes control and puts it away. Harry's coming back. Dwayne, it's been a pleasure.
We'll see you later.
And a 6 full, 1-1.
Stand by.
With Steve Stone, Harry Caray, and San Francisco. We're tied up 1-1. That's the way we were in the first game until the 10th, when the Giants pushed a run across on a sacrifice fly to win it. Let's hope it'll be different in this one. Bobby Dernier fouls off the first pitch. Swung at a off-speed pitch and missed. Dernier 1 out of 4 in the first game. 0 for 1 on this one. Mason's pitch. He started his swing. He went around on the appeal. Bobby Dernier is called out. That's 3 strikeouts in a row for Roger Mason, who I believe has been throwing a lot of split-finger fastball.
Yes, he has, and it looked like Jerry Crawford really enjoyed that call. He wound up, did a little jig, and called Bobby Dernier out.
1 man out, nobody on. Here's Frazier. The pitch is in there for a strike call. Ball game in the 7th. He's in the hole 0-2. Now the pitch a little bit outside. Bob and Gene Bender, formerly of Chicago, came here hoping to see a sweep for the Cubs. Here's a pitch swung on and missed. Frazier, that's a 4th strikeout in a row for Roger Mason. All swinging 3rd strike.
Shortstop Sean Dunston.
Shortstop Sean Dunston. Boy, in the 5th and 6th innings, the Cubs had chances to score 8 or 9 runs. Here's the pitch, and it's a little bit low. John and Julie Kedley, who are Sacramento Cub fans. Here's a pitch low. Dunston drove in the only run for the Cubs, a double in the 5th. That's a play on which Eckersley is thrown out of the play. Started a swing, tried to stop. He had gone around. 2 balls and a strike. Mason's pitch. Popped it up. In foul territory is Will Clark, and that retires the side. 1, 2, 3. We go to the bottom of the 7th. Tied up 1-all. Well, Harry Caray back at Candlestick. We go into the bottom of the 7th. Bob Brunley's going to be leading it off. The Cubs have made a total of 8 hits today in 16 innings. They have scored a total of 2 runs, 1 in each game. Pretty hard to win with 1 run. Here's Brunley to lead it off. George Frazier pitched a perfect 6th inning. Here's the delivery. Fastball inside, ball 1. Now Now the delivery. Strike call, the slider at the knee. Starting to get cooler now. It's been a beautiful day, though. Better than 31,000 paid. Now the delivery. Curve strike call. Spire backing up at third base now.
Good curveball. Anytime you see the knees of the hitter buckle, you know that it's a very deceptive, quick breaking curve, and that's exactly what he did to Bob Brenly.
Now the pitch, here it is. There's a drive in the left field. Gonna be caught right up against the wall. Mumphrey grabs it. One away. Brenly didn't quite get all of that.
Had him out on the front foot some. That was a split finger fastball. Jerry Mumphrey telling the kids to wait their turn. I'll take this one.
Here's Robbie Thompson. One out. Calling him Robbie and Tommy and Billy, and it's supposed to be part of their public relations format. I guess Robbie sounds better than Rob, they think. One out, nobody on. There's a strike call.
We got to call him Chrissy Brown and Jeffy Leonard.
Those two guys will break us in half if we do. Here's a ground ball to Dunston. He's got it. There's the peg into the dirt, but Francona comes up with it. 5 in a row retired by Frazier. Here's Jose Uribe. 0 for 2 in each game.
George Fraser talking to Francona about the possibility of a bunt. Chris Spire very close at third. Francona in close at first base. Now he moves back.
We're in the second game of the doubleheader. 2 out here in the 7th. Here's a pitch a little bit outside. Jose Uribe. Doubleheader started at 12. It's 20-6 here. Now ready. Here's the pitch. Base hit, right field. Uribe singles to right. That'll bring up the pitcher, Roger Mason.
I think he's being called back, Harry. I figure they got about as much as they could from him.
Oh, he's gonna.
Now he's coming back.
He just took his jacket back.
Norm Sherry then told the bullpen to sit down.
With 2 out, Roger Mason will be the batter. He's fanned and lined out in this game.
I don't think it's that cold here.
Well, maybe whoever it is, afraid to look. I don't think Mason's going to hit any home run. Come on out. Throw to first, the runner back. He hit the ball pretty good his last time up. Throw to first, the runner back. Bottom of the 7th. The Giants have had 6 hits, the Cubs 3. Here's the pitch. There goes the runner on the pitch out. The throw. He is out a mile. Uribe is cut down from Jody Davis to Dunston. At the end of 7, it remains tied at 1. Harry Carey and Steve Stone were at Candlestick as we go into the top of the 8th. All tied up 1-1. Terry Francona, who's hit the ball well all day today, only had 1 hit to show for it. He's 0 for 4 in the first game and singled in the 6th of this game. 1 ball, no strikes. The pitch. Strike call on the outside corner. Handling our graphics here on the games in San Francisco and doing a bang-up job of it, Lynn Hill. There's a bouncing ball up the middle, a base hit. And Francona opens the 8th with a single to center. Here's Sandberg. He's 1 out of 3 in this game. He homered for the only run in the first game. He had a perfect first game, 2 out of 2. 2 hits and 2 walks. He doubled in the 4th. He's 1 out of 3 in this one. Runner at first base, nobody out. Throw over the first, the runner back.
Cubs trying to make Roger Craig sorry he didn't pinch hit for Roger Mason last inning. Apparently he felt he'd run Uribe and didn't want to lose the pinch hitter.
Now the pitch. Good fastball right in there.
Bullpen busy once again for the Giants. Looks like Bill Lasky.
That's who it is. 0-1 the count on Sandberg. The throw to first, the runner back. We're in the 8th. Swung and he missed the fastball. Roger Mason just played hardball that time.
He still has something left on the fastball. He whistled one by Sandberg.
Runner at first, nobody out. Cubs have carried a lot of wood up to that plate so far today with little to show for it. Snap throw to first, the runner back. They had 5 hits and only 1 run in 10 innings in the first game. There you see the replay. Francona back easily. And they've only had 4 hits and 1 run going into the 8th in this one. Here's the pitch. Struck him out. Boy, that's his 5th strikeout in the last 3 innings. And his 7th all told. That looked like that split finger fastball.
It was, Harry, and the bottom fell out of it. Roger Craig said one of the secrets is good velocity. And both Scott Gereltz and Roger Mason have excellent velocity, so they should have a good split finger fastball.
Here's Moreland. Moreland sacrificing the runners at first and second in the 6th. Rather surprisingly, because he's the best RBI man on the club.
He also sacrificed in the 9th in the first game, so it'll be good to see him swing away.
He had a swing and he missed. A ball and a strike. They walked Mumphrey after Moreland's sacrifice. And then Roger Mason fanned both Jody Davis and Chris Spire. Now the pitch, instead over to first, the runner back.
The bunt that he sacrificed on would be a base hit right now. Chris Brown, 5 steps in back of the bag at third.
There's Moreland trying to get hold of one. The pitch. Swung and he missed, trying to hit the right field. And he's in the hole now, 1-2. Mason's gone into a higher gear, it seems like. Of his 7 strikeouts, 5 have come since the 6th inning. We're in the 8th. Here's the pitch. Outside. That evens the count, 2-2. Getting cool here in Candlestick.
Yeah, but you're hardy. You didn't bring a jacket, and that's what I like about you.
Well, if you had any compassion at all, you'd let me wear your top coat. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The pitch. Trying to hit the right field, and he fouled it back. Francona was going with the pitch.
I'll give you the cigar to warm your hands if you want.
What happened to our pickles? Did they ever bring him down to you, Arnie? I sent him down.
They're in the back of the booth, Harry. I can smell them. I knew that. I turned around, and there they were.
2 balls, 2 strikes. The pitch. Ball 3. 3-2. He missed with that split finger job that time. Francona will probably be going with the pitch.
Better make sure that he throws it. This is a good opportunity to try to pick him off first base. Francona usually a pretty good base runner.
Now the stretch by Roger Mason. There goes the runner. Swung on a ground ball to deep short. The only play will be to first base, and they get Moreland easily. It's up to Jerry Mumphrey now. He lined out hard, and he fanned. He signaled as a pinch hitter in the first game.
I'm going to be surprised if they throw to Mumphrey, Harry. They got Jody Davis coming up next. Mason's been very tough on the right-handers. Right now, Brenly looking in the dugout, and he gets the sign from Roger Craig, and they're not going to pitch to it.
And Jody Davis is due. He's had a tough afternoon. 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts in the first game and didn't hit the ball out of the infield. Tapping out to the pitcher and grounding to the third baseman the other 2 times up. And 0 for 2 in this game. Safe on an error by the shortstop and striking out the other time.
Maybe Jody can foil the strategy. Jim Fry doesn't really consider pinch hitting for him because he's only got the 1 catcher. Keith Moreland is backup catcher. And he'd just like to use him in emergency situations. That's why Jody had to catch both ends of this doubleheader, despite the fact that the first one went extra innings.
There's a big situation again. Cubs have had some great chances. A little bit high, ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. We're in the 8th. Jody Davis batting .253. High, ball 2. 2 homers, 9 RBIs.
Roger Craig taking the long, slow walk out.
Whatever, it sure didn't take long, whatever he said. Roger Mason responded with a few words, and apparently that's all Roger Craig wanted to hear.
Sometimes when a manager goes out, if he's not going to take out his pitcher, he talks about a pickoff play. Jay Baller loosening up in the bullpen. He threw 3 innings Friday night, 1 inning yesterday. Jim Fry going to use him again. The base runners have to be heads up.
Now Mason's ready. Swings, and he fouls it out of play. 2 balls and a strike. Jody trying to get hold of one. All the other baseball of the day is over with. Here's the pitch. Swung, and he fouled it back. That pitch was in his wheelhouse. A little bit to the inner portion of the plate.
That was a good pitch to hit. A mistake by Roger Mason, who is tiring some. Jody Davis just fouled it straight back.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Ball 3. Now the runners will be going with the pitch. On automatic hit and run with 2 out. Runners at first and second. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Jody Davis. Roger Mason is ready. There go the runners. Here's the pitch. Ball. The bases are loaded. Here's Spire being called back. And Bosley's going to be the pinch hitter. Bosley will bat for Spire.
Giants did not have a left-hander up in their bullpen, so Jim Fry can go to a left-hander, knowing he's going to face a right-handed pitcher.
Bosley with 4 out of 11 as a pinch hitter.
For the Cubs, batting for Spire, number 27.
Boz came through with a big pinch hit in the 9th inning yesterday.
The bases are loaded with 2 out. Cubs had the bases loaded with 1 out in the 6th. With Davis and Spire fans. Now they got the bases loaded with 2 out. And it's up to Thad Bosley.
And they got a catcher behind the plate without the best hands in the world. Bob Melvin, their best defensive catcher. Brenly behind the plate in the 2nd game.
Here's the pitch. Popped it up on the first pitch, easy out. Will Clark is there to retire the Sox. No runs. 1 hit, no errors. 3 left. They go in the bottom of the 8th. Tied up 1-all. With Steve Stone, Harry Carey back in San Francisco. Mike Woodard out of Melrose Park is going to lead it off. He'll be the pinch hitter for Roger Mason. Manny Trio now playing third base. Spire went out for the pinch hitter. The Cubs have been held only 4 hits in 8 innings by Roger Mason.
Woodard has pinch hit in every game. He's grounded to second base twice and bunted into a fielder's choice, and he showed in the first game that he was a pretty good bunter. So Manny will have to be heads up.
Mike Lacoste pitched the first game and held the Cubs to 5 hits in 10 innings. One of them being a homer by Sandberg. That's how they got their only run. But they have gone 17 innings so far today. Made a total of 9 hits and a total of only 2 runs. Here's Mike Woodard. Frazier's pitch is in there, a beauty, a strike call. Frazier in his 3rd inning of relief. Eckersley was injured, had a lead at the end of 5 innings. There's a line drive to right field, a base hit. He's going to go for 2, and he's going to make it. Woodard doubles to right.
With a play in front of him, he realized that Keith Moreland was going away from second base. He's got good speed, and he never hesitated. Jose Morales waving him all the way. Woodard makes it easily.
That's his first hit of the year for the Giants. Woodard leads off with a double to right. Dan Gladden's going to bat for Maldonado.
I think they put him in there, Harry, to lay the ball down. He's a pretty good bunter, pretty good handler of the bat. And right now, the Cub defense is meeting at the mound, and Ray Fontenot getting up in the bullpen.
Gladden has been held to 1 out of 14 in this series. Woodard's first hit of the year as a Giant is a double to right. Giants won the first game 2-1 in 10 innings.
Jim Fry now taking the long walk out.
All the other baseball is over with. The Cubs in trouble here in the bottom of the 8th as a result of a leadoff double. Now the huddle goes on, and here comes Terry Taylor out to break it up. Woodard, lettered in baseball and wrestling at Proviso High School in Maywood. Still lives in Maywood. Mike Woodard at second base. And Don Gladden comes up. A bunts foul down the third baseline.
He wants to make sure that Manny Trio fields this ball. Woodard has good speed. Terry Francona is charging at first. And George Fraser is taught to charge straight ahead. So the bunt has to be the third base.
Dan Gladden, a tough little hitter, can handle the bat. You're watching Chicago Cubs baseball over WGN Channel 9 Chicago. Frazier, now time is called. As he took too much time, and Dan Gladden.
Dunston is faking in back of Woodard at second. He just wants him to take one step back, make sure his momentum is going back to the bag at second, but Woodard is not going for it.
Manny Trio at third base. The only play will be first, a sacrifice. Sandberg covering. Gladden sacrifice, a go-ahead run to third base. And here's Will Clark coming out.
I figure they got to walk him, Harry.
Chris Brown drove in the winning run in the first game. And if they walk Clark, that's going to be all for Frazier.
No, they're going to bring in the left-hander instead of walking him. Ray Fontenot is going to face Will Clark.
That's what it's going to be. We'll be back with more following this. Well, Ray Fontenot, for whom things have not been going extremely good, comes into a game situation now, facing the left-hand hitting Will Clark.
He faced him yesterday in the 7th inning. He got him to tap the ball back to him, and he got him by throwing breaking balls away from Clark. Fontenot 1-1 this year, a high 6.75 ERA, making his 5th appearance. In 2 2/3, he's given up 4 hits and 2 earned runs, including 1 homer to Terry Kennedy. Hasn't walked anybody. He struck out 1, and the game's on the line.
Chris Brown is on deck. A good thing Brown wasn't here Friday night and Saturday. The Cubs beat the Giants 6-5 each time. And if he'd been available, it might have been more difficult to do. Not only is he great defensively, but he has a good sock. Here's Will Clark. Infield in. Swings and he foul tip. 1 strike to nothing. Not too many in this crowd have left. 31,867 paid. Will Clark out of New Orleans.
Jim Fry right now getting up a right-hander in the bullpen.
Here's the pitch. Line drive up the middle of base hit. puts the Giants ahead 2-1.
Ninth RBI of the year. It's a breaking ball right down the middle. Fontenot just can't flag it down.
Boy, it was obvious Clark was not fooled by the left-hander today. Here's Chris Brown. 2-1, the Giants are leading. Fontenot throws over to first, the runner back. We're in the eighth. A ball.
First balk of the year for Ray Fontenot. Now watch the front foot.
Was that because he's looking at the plate and throwing to first?
No, apparently what happens is you bring the back leg back over the rubber and you have to go home. And he didn't do it. He threw to first. Fontenot can't understand what he did. But I'm sure that first base umpire Jerry Crawford would explain it to him.
Davey Lopes is going to replace Mumphrey in left field. That's so they can change their batting order. Probably going to bring in a pitcher at the same time because the pitcher will be coming up second in the ninth inning. So Frazier faced one man, allowed a single, the run is charged to Frazier. We'll be back for more with more following this. Davey Lopes comes in not to play left field. He had replaced Mumphrey, who had trotted off the field. But the official substitution is Lopes at third base. And Jay Baller is the new pitcher.
Baller comes into the game 1-0, 320 earned run average, making his 13th appearance. He's pitched in 3 out of 4 of these games. Friday night he threw 3 innings, yesterday an inning. He's got 5 saves, 19 2/3 innings, given up 17 hits and 7 earned runs, 2 homers, walked 10, struck out 15.
So Davey Lopes will be the second batter coming up in the ninth inning, as it is now. Mumphrey's still in the ball game, and Jay Baller. Appearing for the 3rd straight day. Baller will be hitting in Spires place. Here's a pitch to Chris Brown. Low and outside. 1 ball, no strikes, 1 out. A runner at second base, Will Clark. He has scored 1 run and drove in the other. There's a high fly ball, center field. Dernier is there. That's 2 away. Here's Jeff Leonard. Looking ahead to the 9th. It'll be Dernier, Lopes, and then Dunston coming up. Cubs won yesterday by getting 4 in the 9th. And won Friday night by getting 4 in the 7th. Here's Leonard. Now the pitch. Swung and he fouled it back.
Jeff Robinson now up and throwing in the bullpen. It looks like he will come in to pitch the ninth.
Almost 32,000 paid here today. The Giants have held the Cubs to 1 run in each game. The Cubs have held the Giants to 2 runs in each game. The pitch, low and outside. That evens the count. A ball to the strike. Leonard, 1 out of 3 in this game. And 1 out of 3 in the first game. There's a swing and he missed, and he's in the hole 1 and 2. The entire third base side of the outfield and infield is all covered in the shade from the stand.
Now Bobby Dernier has swung way around toward right center. He was playing him in left center, but with Leonard behind in the count, he moves the other way, figuring on a breaking ball.
Now ready. 1 and 2 the count. Ground ball to the shortstop. Dunston's got it. Throws to first for the out to retire the side. But 1 run, 2 hits, no errors, 1 left. At the end of 8, the Giants are leading again 2-1.
Ball is the Chicago Tribune. A great city deserves a great newspaper.
Bobby Dernier leading it off against Jeff Robinson.
Robinson 2-0, 4.08 ERA, making his 12th appearance. He's really been the best short reliever they have, despite the high ERA. He struck out 20 and walked 14 in 17 2/3 innings. And if he's had one problem, it's been with his control.
Gladden stays in the ball game to play center field. There's a strike call. Robinson had a bad outing Friday night in 2/3 of an inning. He allowed 2 hits, 2 runs. He's entered Dernier now 1 and 2. Robinson going for his second save. He's also 1-2 and lost 9.
He's a converted starter. Started 29 games at Phoenix last year.
Ground ball up the middle of base hit. Bobby Dernier singles to center. And that will bring up Davey Lopes. Lopes celebrated his 40th birthday yesterday. And his wife Lynn threw a little party for Davey. Let's see if he can celebrate it more properly today. Slider on the outside corner, a strike call.
Newton and Davis up for San Francisco. Right-hander and left-hander.
Jeff Robinson is set. They pitch out, almost thrown away. Robinson is 25 years old. Out of Santa Ana, California. There's the runner back. Davey Lopes at the plate. Batting 206 for the year. Down ball, he might be able to turn 2. Out at second. Out at first, a double play. 6-4-3.
Pretty quick double play. Uribe, a good throw to second baseman Thompson. Watch it again. Dernier trying to break it up, but he can't get a piece of Thompson. And the relay to first just in time.
In each game now, the Cubs have made 1 run and 5 hits. And Sean Dunston is the last hope. He drove in their only run with a double in the 5th. There's a pitch outside. The Cubs were 5 under 500 when they came into town. After winning the first 2 games, they were hopeful of returning to Chicago, only 1 game back. There's a ground ball fouled on the third baseline. It would be almost impossible to hit it fair the way Chris Brown is playing. He's right on the line. Look at that. The count is 1 and 2. Ground ball up the middle. Watch Uribe. Can't come up with the ball. That'll probably be a hit. I don't know if he could have thrown him out even if he fielded it. It is a hit.
Wasn't hard hit. Watch it again. Uribe comes up, and he'd really have to hurry to make this play. Ball just goes right under his glove. I don't think he'd have the arm to throw him out.
Here now is Francona with a lot of speed at first base. Francona's hit the ball well today. He's 2 out of 4 in this game.
Tough decision for Jim Pride. You run Sean Dunston, or just leave him there and keep the hole open for Francona.
Now the pitch. Line drive. It is going to drop for a base hit. Francona singled over Uribe's head. Oh, but to the double play. 4 men have been to bat. 3 of them hit safely. But they're 2 out. Runners in first and second. And here is Sandberg, who now represents the last chance. Here comes Roger Craig out. You know the job this fellow's done with this pitching staff deserves special mention, I think. These are mostly the same pitchers he's had around with the Giants the last couple of years. Now Craig has taken over. First thing he did, he got control of the ball club. He made the players understand that the country club atmosphere was not going to be permitted anymore. And then he insisted that every one of his pitchers try to throw the split finger fastball.
And also, Harry, talking to a few of the Giants players, they told me to a man that every time Roger Craig has a clubhouse meeting, even if it's after a bad ball game, he leaves them with something positive. Everything is positive. Even the criticism, he says, look, we can do better than this, and it makes them a good attitude on the ball club.
Here now is Sandberg. The pitch is a little bit low. 1 ball, no strikes. Mackay runs at second. Go ahead run at first, but there are 2 out. Jeff Robinson getting ready. He tried to hold up. Did he go around? Yep. On the appeal. Gary Crawford. One ball, 1 strike. Ground ball. The game, oh! Safe! Here's the tying run! He's out! The game
man of the game thrown out at home plate. Francona upends second baseman Robbie Thompson. He fires home and cuts down Dunston. 3 runs cut down at home plate for the Cubs. They lose another 1-run game.
And so the Giants have slipped the doubleheader 2-1 in 10 innings and 2-1 in 9 innings with a tying run in the second game thrown out at the plate for the final out. We'll be back with the totals and the highlights in a moment. With Steve Stone, Harry Carey back at Candlestick. Well, the first 2 games of the series were very nice. The Cubs won them by 1 run, 6-5 both times. The doubleheader here today was not so nice because the Giants won them both by the identical score of 2-1. Really a rarity in this ball game. The Cubs not only had the final out of the game thrown out at the plate, that marked the 3rd man in this game that the Cubs tried to score who was out. Jody Davis on the squeeze play was thrown out at the plate. Eckersley on Dunston's double in the left field corner, thrown out at the plate. And now Sean Dunston making the final out. Rob Thompson made a quick recovery of what it was a wild throw, and Uribe got an air for it. And that's why Dunston tried to score. But Thompson, this is the eagerness of youth, boy. He pounced on that ball, fired perfectly to the plate.
Roger Craig told me that Thompson is always in the right place at the right time, and he knows how to play the game, and it was really in evidence on the last play. He was completely sprawled out after being knocked down by Terry Francona, had the presence of mind to get up, make a pinpoint throw to home plate, and it didn't end very well for the Cubs. This was a tough one to lose, Harry.
Yeah, it certainly was. All right, the United Airlines charter will take us back to Chicago, and then maybe the friendly confines will be the ultimate answer to this year's ball club.
I'll see you later.
All right, very good. Here are the totals. 2 runs, 8 hits, 3 errors for the Giants. The winning pitcher was Mason. That made his record 2-1. The save goes to Jeff Robinson, and that's his 2nd of the year. For the Cubs, only 1 run on 7 hits. 3 men were thrown out at the plate. No errors. The loser, George Frazier, who now has a record of 1-2. So there it is. A big crowd, 2 exciting ball games, but the Cubs lose them both by the identical scores of 2-1. Tomorrow's an off day. We'll see you at Wrigley Field Tuesday, where the Cubs open a 3-game series with the Los Angeles Dodgers. With Steve Stone, I'm Harry Carey. Win or lose, I'm a Cub fan and a Bud man, and I hope you are too. See you later. So long, everybody.
Raindrops are falling on my head.